Think about this. Your ideas are only as valuable as your ability to explain them. If people don't understand you, your best ideas don't exist. You don't get credit for ideas people don't understand. You can be smart, you can be talented, you can be an expert. But if your message gets lost, it's like it never ever happened. If you're new to the channel, my name is Hugo Munktell. I am a communication coach and I help people master the number one high income skill, communication. Now here's why I say it's the number one skill. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, how much knowledge you have or how much experience you have. If you can't communicate that, those strengths stay hidden. Better communicators earn more, they get promoted faster and build stronger relationships. Studies back this up again and again. So if you want to grow in your career, influence others, or simply feel more confident when you actually speak, master communication. It is the path forward. But before we dive into the practical tools, the bulk of this video, we have to start at the foundation. What communication really is. At the core, communication is very simple. It's the process of transferring an idea from your mind to someone else's mind. Very simple. Sometimes it works, the person gets it, other times it don't. The message gets distorted, lost, misinterpreted. And most of the challenges we face in meetings, presentations, even everyday life comes from the gap between what we mean to say and what the other person actually hears. I've had plenty of those moments myself where in meetings I haven't been able to explain my idea properly because I didn't understand it myself fully, which has created a lot of confusion and no real progress. That's really where I have realized that communication isn't about sounding smart, polished, or perfect. It's mostly about actually being understood when you speak. So the first step to becoming a great communicator is understanding. If you don't fully understand your own idea or your own emotion, no delivery trick will actually save you. Think about it. If you try to explain something you only half get, you'll stumble, rely on jargon, or confuse the person listening. But when you really understand it, you can explain it in simple, clear terms. Like the usual saying, if you can explain it to a 5-year-old, then you understand it completely yourself. I've seen this myself where I've tried to explain a product feature that I didn't fully understand myself, and the other person just felt even more lost than I did, and even more lost than before they actually asked their question. And the same applies for emotions. If I feel frustrated but don't know why, I'll come across as defensive or uncertain, unclear. But when I take the time to actually think, I feel this way because blah blah blah. I can communicate it clearly. So step one is always understanding. Understand your idea, understand your emotion, and only then can you communicate it well. Otherwise it would just come out distorted and never actually land. Once you understand your message, the next challenge is delivery. This is where most of the advice you see on the internet lives. So project your voice, pause more, avoid filler words. Those things are great. They are great. I myself preach all of them a lot through my other videos. That's why I'm not going to get into it that much deeper. But they're only great if the first step is in place. So your understanding. Now that we know what communication is and we understand the importance of understanding your ideas and emotion, let's talk about the 3 things that actually made a massive, the biggest difference for me when I started to improve my communication skills. And I think they still are a huge part of how I improve every single day to this day. The fastest way I improved was by recording myself. And the first time I did it, it was brutal. My voice sounded strange. My pacing was off, my body language didn't match my words. I cringed so hard watching back at that video, and I believe most of you have felt the exact same way. But now I have recorded myself more times than I can even count, before presentations in high school, all the YouTube videos that I've now have posted. And the thing is, the camera doesn't lie. It shows you what other people are already seeing. And once you see it yourself, only then can you start to adjust. Because now you know what you have to improve on. And over time, recording myself became less uncomfortable and more valuable actually. I started noticing patterns, correcting them, and slowly building the confidence that I have right now as I sit here recording another YouTube video. And now sometimes people actually tell me, you seem like a natural salesperson. But that wasn't natural. It was all built through training and practice over time. Now the second big shift was learning how to tell stories. Because information makes sense, of course, but stories makes people care and remember you. For example, I could sit here and say a couple of weeks ago I entered a bench pressing competition with a friend. Now you would nod, you would acknowledge what I said, but you would forget it instantly because there's nothing interesting in that story. Instead, I could say, I recently hit an all-time PR of 132.5 kg in the bench press. And not long after, the owner of the gym came up to me and struck a nerve in my need of winning. He said, first one to 140 kg wins. Now, of course, I shook hands and agreed upon it. I just had to. Same event, completely different impact. That's so much more interesting. And when I started applying this to my communication, things changed immediately. I started connecting with people on a whole different level. I landed a great job, actually, and I feel much more confident in explaining my own experiences. Storytelling works literally anywhere, in meetings, in presentations, in interviews, anywhere. It's what turns your message into something people will actually remember and care for. The third thing that transformed my communication is something that I believe is very underrated and very overlooked, but so incredibly powerful, and it is immersion. I wasn't born confident, I wasn't naturally articulate. In fact, I would avoid situations where I had to talk to people. I would avoid raising my hand even though I knew the question in high school. I would rehearse conversations in my head before ever stepping into a room. And what changed wasn't just practice. It was who I surrounded myself with. I watched videos by great communicators. I studied speakers I admired. And I worked with people who expressed themselves clearly. And slowly their patterns became my patterns. That's the power of immersion. The people you spend time with, the content that you consume, it all shapes what you think about and how you speak. My last boss, she was this incredibly energetic person. Like, that stuff is so powerful. When she walked into a room, you could instantly feel the surge of energy hit you. So be intentional, surround yourself with great communicators, and it will rub off on you. So here's the big picture, so you get it summarized for you and really understand what I've just said. Understand your ideas and your emotions before ever opening your mouth, because only then will you be able to communicate it well. Deliver them with clarity. Use frameworks, avoid filler words, avoid unnecessary jargon. And to grow, record yourself, tell stories, immerse yourself with great communication. That's how you close the gap between what you actually mean when you speak to what people hear. And the best part, this isn't talent. Communication isn't something you're only born with. It's all through practice. Anyone can build it. Communication is built upon learned behaviors. And the best part with that is that each behavior can be reworked, reshaped, and improved, so you can actually become a great communicator. So start today. Record yourself, tell a story, or change what you consume. Do that consistently and you'll be amazed at how quickly your communication transforms. If you enjoy this type of content, hit subscribe. I share tools and shifts like this every single week to help you master the #1 high income skill, communication. See you in the next video. Bye bye.